Okay, so we're going to start in a comfortable seat, whatever that means to you. The first thing we're going to be doing this morning is breath work. So what you're doing with your legs is not too important right off the bat. So just find your comfortable seat. And we're just going to take a moment to close the eyes. Take your left hand to your heart center and your right hand to your low belly. And without controlling the breath here, just notice your heartbeat and notice your natural flow of breath. Notice how deeply you're breathing, where the breath is stopping, the temperature of the air. And then we're going to start with 5 double inhale breaths. So empty all your air out through your nose till there's nothing left. Squeeze your belly in to make sure there's no air in there. And then we're going to inhale through the nose deep into the low belly. And then we're going to inhale again deep into the upper belly. Hold the breath at the top. And then we're going to exhale out through the mouth slowly. So we're going to do that 5 times. So inhale 1. Second inhale. Hold the breath. Exhale out through the mouth. Inhale. Inhale. Hold the breath. Exhale through the mouth. Begin to sit up nice and tall here. Inhale. In. Hold. Exhale. Into the low belly. Into the chest. Hold. Exhale through the mouth. Release any facial expression, release any tension in the shoulders. Final breath into the low belly. Inhale into the back. Hold the breath. And exhale through the mouth. We're going to take the hands to prayer at heart center. Sit up really tall on your next inhale. And on an exhale, bow the chin to chest. And picture one thing you want to work on this week. It could just be being on your phone less. It could be waking up at a certain time. It could be a more abstract idea. Just pick something you want to work on this week. Something that directly benefits you, that you feel excited about when you think about. You can't try not to make it work related. Picture that thing, that small change you want to make. And then we're going to take one deep inhale into the chest. And exhale, imagine it already done. And we're going to take one second inhale here into the chest and imagine something you'd like to focus on during this practice. Maybe it's your breath, maybe it is relaxing into each pose, but just pick what you want to work on during today's flow. And then exhale, imagine it already done. Great. And now we're going to come onto the knees. Sitting on the knees. You can stay on the knees, or if you want to add in this foot stretch, you can curl the toes under and sit back on the heels. So find your seat, and we're going to do 50 rounds of breath of fire. So if you are not familiar, breath of fire is where you have really short, active inhales where you pump your belly back and forth, and your inhale or exhales, and then your inhales are passive. So they just kind of happen as a consequence of moving your belly so fast. So it's really good for purifying the blood and helping you with digestion, and it also creates a lot of energy. So we're going to exhale all the breath out of the belly and actually suck the belly in here to squeeze all the air out. We're going to take one deep breath in. Hold the breath at the top, and then begin exhaling quickly through the mouth and rhythmically, or through the nose. All right, 1, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Exhale all the breath out. Suck the belly in. One more deep breath in. And if you feel up for it, here is time for round 2. And also, if you're up on your toes, feel free to come off of them now. So inhaling. Second round, begin at your own pace. Exhale all the breath out. Suck the belly in. Inhale. And sigh it out through the mouth. Exhale as you crawl forward onto the hands and knees. Take the knees as wide as your yoga mat and your big toes together. And then we're just going to sit back in a wide-legged child's pose. Let the forehead rest on the ground and take a few deep breaths into your back. Feeling the breath in your belly, feeling the breath in your back. We're going to walk the hands off the right corner of the mat and rest the forehead back down on the ground here. Gentle side stretch. And then walk the hands to the left corner of the mat. Side stretch on the left side. Great. And then we will come up onto the hands and knees. Walk the knees in towards the center. And then we're going to come up onto the knees. Hips directly above the knees. Shoulders directly above the hips. Feet straight out behind you. We're going to take the hands to the low back. Push the hips forward. And then we're going to take the hands in front of us, clasp them, and follow the hands to the eyes as we inhale. Raise the hands up over our head, and then just slightly back. A little back bend here. Inhale into the chest. Keep the hips pressing forward. Activate it through the glutes. Try to bring that stretch into the upper back by pressing your hands up towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale, come back down onto the knees. Give yourself a hug. Inhale, coming up onto the knees, clasping the fingers once again. Press the hips forward. Take the hands up overhead. Maybe your fingers go an inch farther towards the back wall this time. Inhale, press your chest up towards the sky. Exhale, come back down to the knees. Give yourself a hug with the opposite hand on top this time. Inhaling and exhaling here. One more round of that on either side. Inhale, coming up onto the knees, clasping the hands, bringing the fingers up overhead and just slightly back towards the back wall. Maybe you go a little further this time. Inhale. Exhale, coming back down. Give yourself a hug. If you're feeling lightheaded, feel free to take a child's pose here. And then final one, inhaling, coming up onto the knees. Trace your hands with your eyes as you bring them up overhead. Press the hips forward, press the chest up towards the sky. Take the deepest back bend of your morning. Inhaling and exhaling, coming back down to the knees. Giving yourself a hug with the opposite hand on top. Maybe give yourself a little shoulder massage here. We're going to come back onto the knees. We're going to do a little balance play here. We're going to see if we can take the right knee off the ground and with the hands on the hips, see if you can just step that right foot to the top of your mat and just come into your low lunge. Might take a couple tries. Time to practice our balance. Making sure the front knee is behind or directly above the front ankle. I'm going to start out in this low lunge here, rocking a bit from side to side, noticing where you feel tight this morning, whether it's in your right glute or your left hip flexor, or your inner right thigh, or in your low back. Take a moment here to take some deep breaths and notice where you feel the stretch. We're going to inhale, mimic what we just did. Take the hands in front of us, steeple grip, and then follow the hands of the eyes as we bring them up over the head and into a little mini back bend. Inhale. Exhale, hands come back down to the earth. We plant the left hand on the inside of the right foot and inhale. Reach the right hand like you're drawing a bow, an arrow back in a bowstring. Reach the right hand up towards the sky for a side for a twist. You can come up onto the left toes and take your left knee up off the ground for a slightly deeper version of this. Inhaling and exhale, extend that right arm towards the front of the room. And we'll come back down to the earth. We'll inhale one more time, looking forward here. And then we'll exhale, walk the fingers back, come up onto the front heel, taking our half split pose, our intense side stretch. We'll inhale, look forward, and you can always be on blocks here if your hamstrings are pretty tight. And exhale, making sure there's a micro bend in that front knee. Bend over that front leg with a straight back. And we'll tilt from one side to the other, pulling that right hip into the hip socket. And here, we're going to plant the left fingertips and inhale. Bring the right hand up towards the sky, making sure that we're pulling that right hip back in space. Trying to keep the hips square. Twist here. Exhale, extend that right hand towards the front of the room. Come back down to the earth. And then we plant the hands somewhere near our right heel. And then on an inhale, we take that right leg out behind us and do a couple hip circles. Great. And then we're going to plant the left hand on the earth in the center of the mat. Inhale, take the right hand up towards the ceiling. Inhale here. And then we'll exhale to thread the needle, taking the right hand in this hole we've created between the left hand and the legs. Back of the right hand slides on the ground towards the left side of the room. We gradually come on to the back of the head. Inhaling here, trying to make sure your hips stay centered over your knees. You can press into that left hand to increase the stretch here in the shoulders. Take deep, slow breaths. You can try extending that left hand towards the front of the mat, and maybe you hold on to the front of the mat with that left hand. Holding this for a bit longer here. Maybe you crawl that right hand farther towards the left as your shoulders open up. Softening through the neck. Take one more deep breath here. And we'll slowly unravel. Walk the hands forward and come onto our belly. Take the hands directly below the shoulders. We'll inhale, take the chest off the ground for baby cobra. Exhale, forehead comes down to the earth. Inhale, take the chest off the ground, press into the hands just a bit to take a full cobra. Stretching through the belly, keeping the shoulders away from the ears, pressing into the pubic bone and feet. Exhale, come back down to the earth. And inhale, we will swim the hands back and clasp them if you can. And let the hands pull you like rings off the earth. Then we'll take the feet off the ground as well. Hold the locust pose for 10, 9, 8. Really press those feet up towards the sky. 7, 6, 5. Chest is high off the ground. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Everything melts down to the earth. We take the hands out to a T, palms facing down. Take your left cheek to the ground and look towards your right hand. And on an inhale, we're going to bend the right knee. Take the right leg off the ground. And keeping the right palm firmly planted, we'll slowly bring that right foot towards the left-handed space. It's highly unlikely that you're going to reach that left hand, but we're just going to plant the sole of the right foot on the earth somewhere below the left hand. So you're coming up off the belly here and just resting on that left shoulder. It should be a deep stretch in the left shoulder. And a reminder that the left palm is on the earth. You can take the right hand off the ground, bring it in closer to you, come onto the fingertips and press into that right hand to try to get a deeper stretch in the left shoulder. Inhaling here. Exhaling. You can reach the right hand towards the right leg. Take the right foot off the ground. And try to grab that right ankle in the right hand. Flex the foot and kick the foot away from you, holding it so you're in a half bow here. To be a deep stretch in the front of the right hip flexor. And of course, you're still in this deep shoulder stretch on the left side. Inhaling here. Just kicking that foot straight out behind you. Inhale into the belly. Feel your belly get big. Exhale, empty out. Take that foot back down to the ground, that right foot back down to the ground, a couple feet below the left hand. And slowly try to walk that right foot up high as you can, as close to the left hand as you can. Inhale, one final breath in here. And then we will slowly come back down to our belly, both feet on the mat, hands in a T once again. Inhale and exhale, sigh it out. We are going to take both feet up behind us, bend the knees, reach behind us with the hands and see if you can grab on to the ankle, either ankle. We're going to flex the feet, and on an inhale, kick the feet away from us, coming into a full bow pose here. Inhale into the chest. Exhale, knees should be hip width apart. Inhale and exhale, come down to the earth. We're going to press ourselves up onto our hands and knees. Come into our tabletop position. But then here, instead of going into a child's pose, we're going to keep the hips directly centered above the knees. We're going to walk the hands as far forward as we can toward the front of the mat. We're going to inhale here And arching the back, see if you can lay the chest down on the ground here, puppy pose. Hands extended towards the front of your mat, like your puppy stretching for the first time in the morning. Maybe cultivate a gentle smile here, long puppy belly. Inhaling into the shoulders, really pressing into the earth with the hands and elbows. Maybe pressing into the earth with the knees as well. Seeing how deep of a stretch can you get in your shoulders. Inhaling in and exhaling out. Come back to that intention you set at the beginning of the morning. Softening through the neck. Just a few more breaths here, really allowing your shoulders time to warm up. And then we'll slowly walk the hands in, curl the spine, looking towards your navel. We'll come back to the knees and do that whole sequence on the second side. So on an inhale, we'll take the hands in front of us, up and over, follow the hands, the gaze, take a back bend here. Then taking hands to heart center. We're going to come off the left knee and using our balance, see if we can just step that left foot to the front of the mat and come right into our low lunge. Making sure the front knee is behind or directly above the front ankle. We'll rock a bit from side to side here. Notice where you feel the stretch on this side and name it. So notice where you feel it and then say to yourself, I feel the stretch in the front of my right hip or wherever you're feeling. Just say it quietly in your mind to yourself. And then we're going to take the right hand to the earth. Inhale, take the left hand up towards the sky for our twist to the left side. Inhaling here. Option here to come onto the right toes. Press up off that right knee and take a deeper twist. Inhaling here. Notice if you feel a stretch here. Maybe you feel it in your left hip. Inhaling, stretching those left fingertips towards the sky. And exhale to allow the left hand to come towards the front of the room. One final breath in. Come down to the earth. And we're going to walk the hands back. Again, come on to blocks here if you need to. Come on to the left heel. Tick-tock the toes from side to side. We'll inhale, get tall. And notice if you're a little more tight on this side. And exhale with the flat back. Fold as best we can over that left leg. Making sure there's a micro bend in the knee. Pulling that left hip into the hip socket. Inhaling here. And exhaling slowly. Softening through the neck. When you do things a little different this time, come back through your low lunge. Inhale, take the hands overhead once again to your crescent lunge. Back bend here. And then we'll exhale. Take the right hand to the earth. Come back onto the left heel, coming back into this half split pose. And then we're going to inhale with the right hand on the ground. Take the left hand up towards the sky. Or twist here, making sure that we're pulling that left hip back in space. Or we're squaring the hips. Inhale and exhale. You can take that left hand towards the front of the room. Awesome. And we're going to take both hands on the inside of that left foot and just take the left foot out behind us. Adjust and take some fire hydrant circles with the left hip. Awesome. We're going to inhale, take the left hand up towards the sky with the right hand planted in the center of the mat. Inhale here. And then we're going to exhale. Take the left hand through this hole we've created and come into thread the needle pose. Coming onto the back of the head. Coming onto the left shoulder, pressing into the right hand. Left palm is facing the sky, keeping the hips centered over the knees. Inhale into the belly. Exhale. Softening through the shoulders. You can come onto the right fingertips to press into the right hand, or you can reach that right hand towards the front of the mat and grip your mat. Coming farther onto the back of the head, if you can, safely. So we'll slowly unravel. Just pause in a tabletop here and do a couple figure 8 type motions in the shoulders. And we're going to walk our way forward and come into a cobra pose. Inhale, take the chest off the ground. Exhale, lay the forehead on the earth. Inhale, full cobra, pressing into the hands, pressing your pubic bone to the feet. Really arching the spine, drawing the shoulder blades together behind you. Exhale, come back down to the earth. Inhale, locust pose, taking the hands behind you and the feet up off the ground. We're going to hold this. And we're actually going to do 10 breath of fires here, just for fun. So you're going to inhale, make sure everything's really off the ground, feet and chest lifted. Inhale, and begin your fast exhales. Exhale everything out. Inhale, come back down to the earth. Lay your forehead on your hands for a second here in crocodile pose. Notice how you felt your belly pressing into the earth in that breath of fire. Inhale. Sigh it out, exhale. Great. I'm going to take the hands out to a T once again. This time, we're going to take the right cheek to the earth. We're going to inhale, bend the left knee, reach the left knee up high, high towards the sky. And then we're going to just allow the left foot to come towards the earth, below the right hand. It doesn't matter how far below. And inhale here, into this right shoulder, the front of the right shoulder. Getting into the right pec, really. Inhaling here and exhaling. Going as far, and with everything in yoga, make sure that you're checking in with your own body to make sure that this feels safe in your shoulder. So you know your body best. It's a home practice, so be mindful of what feels good and what feels challenging and what feels challenging in a bad way. So we're going to reach the left hand behind us now and see if we can raise that left foot up off the ground this time and grab hold of the left ankle in the left hand. Flex the left foot and kick that foot back, taking a half bow pose here. So kicking that left foot directly behind us, staying really grounded through the right palm and the right hip. Inhale here. Exhale, left foot comes back down to the earth, coming back onto the left fingertips. For one more breath here. And then we will exhale in slow motion, come back to center. Just rest here for a moment. Allowing your back to reset. And then we're going to take the hands beneath us, come up onto the knees, and take one final puppy pose. Inhale here, and exhale, walk the hands forward as far as you can. Inhale, and exhale, just lay the chest towards the ground. Releasing the shoulders. Saying, thank you, shoulders, for holding all my stress, but it's time to let it go now. Come back to your intention. Heart to earth pose is another name for this pose. And really focus on how it feels to be grounded through your heart. To be securely held by the ground unconditionally. We're going to come back into just our classic child's pose for a breath here. And we're going to come into a seat. We're going to do a couple shoulder rolls here, forwards and backwards. And we're just going to end with a little hip stretch here. So we're going to do cow face pose. If this doesn't feel good in your knees, feel free to lay on your back and take the pigeon pose where you make a figure four with your legs. If you want to try the cow face pose, we're going to take the right knee, we're going to take the right foot towards the left butt cheek, for lack of better words. We're going to take the left hand around the left foot and pull that left foot towards the top of the right thigh. And we're going to scoot the hips forward so that our left knee is just directly over the right knee. Now, my hips are not super open. Some people can just have these feet glued to either sides of their hips, and I am nowhere near that. So if you're feeling a stretch in your hips and it's not hurting in your knees, you are doing this pose right. So we're going to inhale here, keeping the feet flexed if you want to. And exhale, if you feel comfortable trying this, we're just going to fold over the legs here, looking down at the earth. And imagine that you're looking into a very still pool on your mat, a still pool or puddle where you can see your own reflection. Sending deep breaths to the low belly. A deep pool where you can see your own reflection. And just imagine yourself looking really happy there. Deep breaths into the hips. Just focus on softening and releasing. Releasing the stress in the shoulders, releasing the emotion in the hips. Like changing the air filter on your car, like your body. One final breath in here. And we'll exhale. Come on to the butt, uncross the legs. Just do a couple windshield wipers at the knees here. It's also a bonus little booty massage. We'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So left foot comes in towards the right hip. And then take the left or the right foot on top of the left leg and scoot the hips forward until your right foot is as close to your left hip as you can get it, and your left foot is as close to your right hip as you can get it. Pause here. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out through the mouth, sigh it out. Two more like that. Inhaling deep into the belly. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale, one final breath in. Exhale, soften through the brow, soften through the jaw. And we're going to take a little bend forward, staying mindful of the hips and knees. Look once again into that little pool. Feeling a sense of peace. Feeling a sense of wholeness here. You can bend farther forward if you want to. Some people might say keep your hips glued down to the ground at any cost, but I find that I'm a little guilty of coming off the hips a little as I bend forward, and I think it's okay if you want to try that too, just to come up off the hips a little bit as you bend forward, or at least see how it feels. Take just a few more breaths here. And now imagine that your mind is just draining out as you look into your pool, as you're bending forward. The only thing in your mind is your breath, and your background thoughts are exactly that right now, just background music to your stretch. You don't have to engage with them. Whatever you're worried about can wait for 30 more seconds. Just allow yourself this little alleyway between thoughts, between activities, to just take some time for yourself. Maybe try gluing the hips back down to the earth. Bend forward again and see how that changes the stretch. And then we are going to come onto the hands, uncross the legs. Maybe you'll get some good hip pops there. And then we'll rock a bit from side to side, windshield wipering the knees. Then we'll just come back to our comfortable seat. Left hand on the heart, right hand on the belly. We'll take a deep breath in here. Release it through the mouth. One more in. And out. And we'll just finish off with one long hug. Give yourself a big bear hug. Squeeze your shoulders here. Chin to chest. Just inhale, holding yourself, and exhale. We're going to take hands to heart center. Inhale, chin to chest, bow, exhale. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste.